Good night. Welcome to Teleislas News with the most relevant and important information of the day. Over the weekend, the Environmental Corporation Carolina led a cleaning activity in different sectors of the department.
In the framework of the commemoration of the International Day of the Beaches, the Environmental Corporation Carolina, in conjunction with other partners, headed an activity cleaning up the Sprat Bay Beach.
El día 17 tuvimos en simultánea como 3.
On the 17th, we were simultaneously in 3 large activities. The most relevant was in Sprat Bight with more than 100 volunteers. Among the different institutions were the government, 4 educational institutions, the military forces, and the Schooner Bight Ethnic Association, which was linked to the campaign to make use of the waste that was extracted there. We were able to evacuate more than 54 kilograms of usable waste, 147.5 kilograms of non-usable waste, and 29 kilograms of organic waste, specifically from Sprat Bight. At the same time, a cleanup day was also held at Old Point with other organizations such as Natura, which led the San Luis sector. So it was a great day of environmental cleanup around the commemoration of World Beaches Day.
The Environmental Corporation Carolina stated that they will continue conducting these types of activities that will allow the conservation of these touristic sites and ecosystems of the archipelago.
A police captain who allegedly facilitated the trafficking and transport of cocaine in a light aircraft that was seized in May 2021 was charged by the Attorney General's office.
In the last few hours, the Attorney General Office announced that it has filed charge against Police Captain Jorge Isaac Aguilar Garcia for possibly urging a lieutenant to perform a superficial search that allowed the passage of a shipment of 446 packages of cocaine and cash at the El Embrujo Airport on the island of Full Providence last year. The Attorney General Office for Disciplinary Instruction of the Public Force stated that the official allegedly used his rank to obtain help and prevent the contents of the boxes, which arrive in a private plane, from being thoroughly inspected and instead delivered directly to him. In a second charge, the Public Prosecutor Office indicated that Aguilar Garcia apparently allowed and assisted in the trafficking and transportation of the drug of 102,750,000 million pesos in cash that was found in the aircraft model C-90 series LJ 1065, registration number N722KR, during a flight from Guaymaral Airport in Bogotá. According to the Public Prosecutor Office, Aguilar Garcia allegedly constrained people with less seniority in the institution by reiterating his rank and function, to whom he affirmed that the boxes contain humanitarian aid, thus removing himself from the public interest of his function, ignoring the purpose of his work and harming the services he should provide to the community. The Attorney General Office provisionally qualified the captain's conduct as very serious and fraudulent.
In order to reduce the contamination caused by tires that are no longer in use on the islands, the Secretariat of Public Services, through the Waste Collection Group, began to evacuate them to the city of Cartagena in containers.
Iniciamos con el llenado en contenedores de 20 pies.
We started by filling in 20-foot containers of tires that we collected from our routes around the island. In each container, we are taking approximately 650 tires that will be shipped to the city of Cartagena, where they will be disposed of in order to reuse them for the care of the environment. It is very important that these tires are removed from the island because they are a source of contamination and encourage the spread of mosquitoes in the areas where these tires are accumulated. These tires have been collected around the island and also from the 5 corners and the one diagonal to the hospital.
The official stressed to the community that for the next few days also continue to collect special waste around the island, so he called on the community to dispose of white line waste only on the days the trucks will pass through their sectors. To know the collection schedule and specific days, interested parties can visit the social networks of the departmental government.
With the promotion of the integral development of girls, the government commemorates the Andean Week for the prevention of pregnancy in adolescents. It is highlighted that after a preliminary report from DANE, accordingly, the department registers one of the lowest rates of teenage pregnancies at national level.
Following the commemoration of the Andean Pregnancy Prevention Week, authorities highlight that, according to vital statistics from the Secretariat of Health, the specific fertility rate in women aged 15 through 19 dropped from 107 in 2019 to 42 in 2021. In addition, according to the preliminary DANE report, the department registers one of the lowest teenage pregnancy rates at the national level. Therefore, during this week, we'll be developing actions aimed at promoting and ensuring the comprehensive development of children and adolescents, seeking to impact the social determinants associated with pregnancy in childhood and adolescence. This situation, due to different circumstances, violates their rights and generates a great impact on their personal, economic, and social development. The Secretariat of Health, in coordination with the Secretariat of Education, will commemorate the Andean Week for the Prevention of Adolescent Pregnancy from September 19th through the 23rd. This year's slogan is, "Let's speak out." We say no to violence and pregnancy in childhood and adolescence and invite the community to become aware of the meaning of sexual violence as a form of gender-based violence that affects girls, boys, adolescents, and young people. This fact, which is frequently exercised in environments that are considered safe, ends up with unwanted pregnancies, affecting their physical, mental, and emotional health and affecting the integral development and well-being of the victims, reflected in high school dropout rates, among other factors. Regarding statistics on gender violence in the archipelago, there have been 26 cases so far this year, an accumulation between 2019 and 2022 of 186 cases of this type of violence in children and adolescents. For this reason, the Secretariat of Health, from the institutional level, tries to strengthen ties with parents and caregivers as social agents to continue with the prevention of pregnancy in childhood and adolescents, as well as in its relationship with the prevention and care of gender-based violence.
The smuggling of beer and liquor is one of the phenomena faced by consumers and the departmental administration. The Treasury Secretariat is carrying out a campaign in order to put an end to the smuggling and the gangs that engage in this.
In order to verify that liquors and beers that are subject to excise tax comply with the provision of Law 1762 of 2015, which allows the government to strengthen and continue with dismantling of gangs and criminal organizations engaged in smuggling, custom fraud, illegal export, and money laundering, the anti-smuggling team of the Finance Secretariat conducted inspection in nightclubs and bars during the weekend.
We have been making visits to commercial establishments, verifying the liquors, cigarettes, and beers that are sold in the establishments, as well as to the end consumer in discotheques and bars.
According to Vilma Ricaute, so far this year, more than 1,000 awareness campaigns have been carried out from January 26 to August 31st.
Se han realizado
1,225 awareness campaigns have been carried out between the commerce sector, general population, and young people. The purpose is to create awareness among the general population regarding the consumption of liquor, cigarettes, and beer, and that they may get to know how to recognize when they are in good condition for consumption.
During the activity, it was found that the products for sale in commercial establishments contain excise tax stamp. Likewise, the general population was made aware of how to verify these products before the consumption.
The weather conditions for the next few days in the department are isolated rains with low intensity and a high swell. At the same time, government invites the community not to lower the guard and to be attentive to official information since we are in hurricane season.
The port captain indicates that in the next few days, isolated rains are expected. A majorly favorable weather is expected in the department.
For this week, it is possible that we will have light to moderate rains, since it is expected that Hurricane Fiona, which at this moment is positioned at the height of Puerto Rico, will have an indirect effect. The recommendation is to follow the calls by the Maritime Channel and all the recommendations.
It's worth noting that the maritime authorities recommend the Maritime Guild to be attentive to the reports provided daily, which must be followed to avoid emergencies at sea.
Now it's time for news in the municipality of Old Providence and Santa Catalina with Millicent O'Neil.
Good evening to all our viewers. This is the most relevant information from Old Providence and Catalina. In response to complaints from the community about the windows, railings, and doors of the houses in Providence, the manager for the reconstruction project spoke about the process Findeter is carrying out with these.
The manager for the reconstruction projects, Mavic Hernandez, spoke about the process that the Providencia Consortium is carrying out regarding the railing, windows, and doors of the galvanized houses. This in response to the complaints from the community about these items.
The railings, as we have said in other occasions, we had a supplier who had a difficulty with the type of material they brought to the island. This supplier is already making the different adjustments, and we are removing the railings by sections. We started with Bottom House, Rocky Pine, Mountain, and Old Town, and in the same order, we will be making the respective replacement.
Regarding the windows, the following was said.
Maintenance is already being carried out, and this is accompanied by the families so that they can see firsthand the maintenance process that must be done to the windows, especially those that are exposed to the exterior, which are on the sides of the facades. We are already carrying out these works in different fits. We started with Bottom House, and the workers have been distributed throughout the island in the different sectors where difficulties have been identified.
About the doors, the manager assured that these are being replaced with PVC doors, both the main and the patio door.
On the other hand, the principal of the Junin Educational Institution, the only high school in the municipality, expressed her concern about the slow progress of the buildings, a work that started a few months ago.
Teleislas News was visiting the construction project of the Junin School in Old Town, where the principal expressed her concern about the slow progress of the work. These high school classrooms should be finished by the beginning of the school year, but although there is workers present, the progress is little.
This is about my 5th or 6th visit here, and I find it almost in the same condition. Some of the walls have been cleaned and painted, but I have not seen much progress in the work for the time that has passed. And that worries me, because if the work doesn't progress, then logically by January we won't have the school ready to start classes.
The temporary classroom no longer responds to the needs because when it rains outside, it also rains inside.
2 days ago, in a rainstorm here on the island, we got totally flooded in the temporary classrooms because they don't have windows and the rain comes in. We have to move the tables and chairs, and in the school's rectory, documents got wet, my computer. So how long are we going to wait for a decent place to work? We have been waiting for 6 years. That should be enough time for any school to be rebuilt.
This project suffered damages in windows and roof due to the hurricane. The military who lived there after the hurricane left the site 3 months ago. However, the principal ends by saying that although there is progress, it's not significant.
And in other news, the Sports and Culture Secretariat has been carrying out a project of generational succession in the schools, where children are taught to produce traditional toys.
Gigs from stick, bamboo kites, and coconut houseboats are some of the traditional toys that are being taught in schools as part of a project by the Culture Secretariat that seeks to promote ancestral knowledge.
At this moment, we are carrying out a project based on the making of ancestral toys and arts and crafts. At the moment, we are coordinating with the educational institutions of the municipality, where we are inviting them to come out and participate in these events with the purpose of strengthening the racial culture and the activities that our ancestors used to carry out.
y las actividades.
Children were able to see how these elders put together the different ancestral toys and then learn how to play with them.
Bueno, el proyecto es
Making, for example, the gigs, kites, and also the little boats made coconut husks that previously we used to go to the beaches and make our own little boat to play with. The idea was to reinforce this type of activities and allow the youth to articulate and learn about this type of knowledge.
y pues
Finally, both children and youth also participated in ancestral gastronomy class where they learned how to cook bami, bake plantain tarts, and johnny cake, among others.
This is all we have for tonight for this section of Old Providence and Catalina. Continue in San Andres, Lisa, with more Teleislas news. Good night.
Thank you, Millie. With news of the municipality, we reached the end of our broadcast. We see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. with more Teleislas news. Good night.